excellent. They did a really good job. It's always something is
always
phenomenal.
Highly critical. Dude. Oh shit, we're live! Holy shit! Look at that. Who pressed the record button? Welcome, or yokoso, as the Japanese say. This is officially the third episode of the Authority on Wrestling podcast. Once again with me are BG, It's Still Real to Me, and Scumbag Mike.
Hello.
Monday, I'm finishing up at work. I drive home, turn on the TV, and holy shit, Samoa Joe on Raw.
Yeah.
On Raw.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
In a suit.
In a suit, mean mugging down the ramp, like the meanest mugger there ever was. And, yeah, what a moment, man. I mean, the NXT thing was cool, but finally and I've seen him in a couple of dark matches with Raw and SmackDown, but to see him come down and actually be on Raw television in an official capacity, that was awesome. That was really cool. Mike, I know you're a huge Samoa Joe fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was, as he said when he first came down, the first thing he said was 18 years. He's been working 18 years to get on that stage, and he really showed up for it. Looking good in the suit. It's going to be good to see him kind of dominate. I like what they're doing with him as kind of Triple H's heel hitman, having him take out people. But I like that they fed him kind of Roman Reigns right away.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's what I would say, though. I know you have to put someone really big in there, and quite possibly the Vince's ideal face of the company. So, I mean, I guess Roman makes sense. But at the same time, I know that just about all of us are on the same page as far as being like, really going to put Roman in another storyline immediately? He's already feuding with like 2 to possibly 3, maybe even 4 people. And then you just feed him the brand new guy, too, who's like the hottest thing at the moment. Like, you got to put Roman in there. But, I mean, let's not take away from Samoa Joe. I feel as if Samoa knocked it out of the park.
Did he win you over? Did he finally win you over?
He's always been over, I guess.
No, did he win you over, though?
Yeah. Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I respect him. I know his skill set and so on and so forth, but I'm always really standoffish when someone has a big following or someone has a lot of hype out of nowhere. It seems as if
you gotta buck the trends.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I'm just like, oh, who's this guy? I'm really reluctant to like him at first, but no, I mean, he certainly has chops in every avenue. And for his first appearance in the big leagues, so to speak, they gave him plenty of mic time, and he killed it on the mic.
Oh, so effective.
He was completely.
It was straight to the point. It didn't overstay its welcome, and I felt like the message was clear.
Yeah,
I know what his next moves are likely going to be, and that's when it's at its best. That's effective storytelling. To counter though, I think throwing Roman Reigns out there, was perfect. Because Roman Reigns, for the first time probably since TLC, in, what was that, 2015? We were there.
Yep.
I wasn't. I had gotten thrown out at that point for falling asleep. But
Wonderful.
I thought you were gonna say you dressed as an ex character,
No.
So there was this Hulkamania.
No, I had just gotten in from Germany the night before, and I was jet lagged. I kept falling asleep. So the main event happened, and I wasn't all that invested in it because it's Roman Reigns versus Sheamus, and I fell asleep. And the next thing I know, I'm getting asked to leave. So kind of crazy. But I thought it was the most effective Roman Reigns has looked, and it's a very believable storyline because with him putting Seth Rollins out and their new rekindled friendship that they've had lately, I think Roman Reigns is the perfect guy to introduce him, and their styles are really similar too. And ultimately, where I think this is, where I think this should go, and where I think it might end up going, is you have Samoa Joe who's coming out like this hired brute for Triple H. I mean, his new merch says "Right Hand of Destruction." His promo, everything that he's doing suggests that he's in the pocket of Triple H. So eventually, wouldn't it be great down the road? I mean, this might be a year and a half out, but to do a schism angle where you have Triple H's guys that he cultivates through the NXT system, that he's, his island of misfits that he's given a chance to, versus Vince's guys, and this is a giant battle for control of the company, essentially. Almost like another invasion angle, because invasion angles are great as long as they're executed greatly, but like it's almost like the original Nexus angle, but yeah. I think it would be far more effective because you have a real storyline there with Triple H and Vince, like, hey old man, it's time to move on.
I really like that. Maybe I also like the idea of they could, instead of Vince, use Shane. Kind of Shane wants his rightful spot as the owner of the WWE and have him take over the WWE guys. And then Triple H, because he's slowly been, instead of having a big, large group all come at once like they normally do with an invasion, have like Samoa Joe come up, and then eventually have like maybe Nakamura come up, and then maybe Bobby Roode and stuff like that.
Owens, Zayn, all those guys.
And have all that faction, and then be like, you know what? We're just taking over, and then just have them go against whoever.
And then you can have the Cenas, the Ortons, all the Vince stalwarts that have been mainstays forever.
It's true. There's a lot of potential there with what they could do.
Yeah, I imagine that you're speaking just within like a kayfabe manner, as far as like Shane, taking over a little.
Yeah, not real life.
Yeah, because Shane's obviously not.
Yeah, no. Triple H, it's going to be Triple H's company.
Right.
So if it's not, that's a damn shame.
Stephanie's company.
Yeah.
Well, the co-owners.
Yeah.
They could be, co-owners. So.
But no, that was great seeing Samoa Joe. Gets a huge pop once again.
Great. It was a decent main event. I mean, it wasn't his best match, but I thought his skill set was on display really well. And once again, reoccurring theme on this show, Braun Strowman being the friggin' man. Who called that, like, Braun Strowman's going to run? I thought that was going to be a straight ahead match. I really did. I didn't think...
But it works out perfectly to make everybody get as much heat as they need, continual rivalries.
And not really hurt anybody in the process.
Exactly.
And it didn't really hurt Samoa Joe because he didn't look weak, because Strowman didn't really get involved and do much. He kind of just jumped on the apron.
It's not like he needed him either, and he didn't beckon him, come on, didn't give me assistance. It just so happened to be. But, Samoa definitely could have had that match alone, but, it also Roman doesn't look like a pussy either, and he does look like a
legitimate threat.
Yeah, a legitimate threat to have to get through in order to establish yourself.
That being said, do you think that they might have done this match too early, that they could have held off on it a little bit? Because from here, where does Samoa Joe go?
I think, personally, yes. They could have waited. In a perfect world, and if Raw already had a bunch of steam as it is, but because SmackDown seems to be the top show right now, I think that they're almost having to throw in and that match happens tonight, to get everybody behind it. Because if they go, this is great, but wait till next week, people go, oh, what the hell?
So
it's more things for people to complain about.
Tonight, and then wait till next week.
Exactly. They actually get to have a match. We got to see Samoa Joe in action versus the big dog.
It felt like a main event that you had to watch too. Because I can't tell you how often I tune out during the main event of Raw, because it ends up being, and lately they've been getting better with it, but it ends up being some stupid amalgamation of a promo they had earlier, or a combination of two matches they had earlier where there's interference, like, oh, let's put them in a tag match. Yeah. So to have a marquee thing where they start the show this is your main event, and not only that, the way it's set up is through this point of contention between Mick Foley and Stephanie.
Yeah, there's
which I can't help but think that Foley's days, especially with the shit he's been posting on social media.
They're numbered.
Yeah, I can't see him doing it much longer, because apparently he's going for this hip replacement.
Yeah, he is supposed to be on the road to leaving, and I don't think it's going to be much longer.
Now, this is, to my knowledge, this is all kayfabe heat, right? It's...
Yeah.
It's not like he's really...
Yeah.
No, of course, yeah.
But see, it's still real to me, dude.
Now... How do you feel, and I don't want to get too off topic, but how do you feel this run with Foley's been, especially compared to his original commissioner role? And what was that, 01 he had that role?
Yeah, this one's definitely, to me, been weak. He's trying to do a little bit of the comedy, which he's not really hitting his marks on the comedy anymore. And he's doing a lot of those very passionate promos that he used to do when he was a competitor, where he gets like out of breath and all hyped up and gets all
I think
shaky.
he's overusing that.
And he does that
Yeah.
a little bit too much, and
Yeah.
I don't like it. I think it's just making him look weak and foolish, and not like it's not making it important when he uses it.
The number one thing is that it's not as believable as it should be.
Yeah.
Because you almost expect you to watch. Mick Foley's going to go nuts right now, ready? And then as soon as any kind of conversation needs to happen, I told you what, you know,
Yeah.
he just starts going off, and it's like you don't have to go to 11.
He kind of seems
for
like the
90% of the stuff that you're going to 11 for.
He comes off like the batshit old man in the room sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's things that he brings up that are sometimes irrelevant. Like, I remember when he was doing the Sasha Flair one before Hell in a Cell, which was like almost the same exact promo he did when he made that cameo appearance when Rollins and Ambrose were having the match.
Yeah,
it was just different
I bet in
characters.
that cell.
But he's like, oh, it'll change you
Yeah,
and
I'm
stuff.
a different man when I leave.
But he brought up at one point with Sasha the Eddie Guerrero photo that he had given to her, the signed photo. It felt a little unnecessary. It felt uncomfortable, truthfully, because I don't know if she knew that he was going to bring it up, and she seemed a little taken aback by it, and it just felt odd. And it felt off the mark.
It seems like
I say this during an off the mark segment, but whatever.
I do agree, and it seems like he's trying to put more focus on himself sometimes than on the competitors. I think he's really not doing a great job this time around. He was definitely more successful and memorable during his first run as commissioner, a lot with the comedy and everything. And this one's not really.
But then again, it's all. I mean, maybe that has something to do with the way that Stephanie keeps on kind of keeping the animosity of, like, you're dropping the ball, Mick, you better get your shit together. And, like, you know, it seems like he kind of can't for the most part. And is that he's not truly establishing his performance, whether it be the on-screen role of GM, whatever, and or literally him trying to sell to us what his performance. You know, I think both of them are kind of off the mark right now. And
I think
with Stephanie
brain's
throwing the doubts out
toast.
there.
Truthfully,
I would not be surprised.
I really do. I hate to say it.
What?
I think his brain's kind of toasted from all the abuse. Because I met the guy I think like 2 years ago now, and he's super nice, like one of the coolest wrestlers I've met. But like now he's writing down the cities on his palm and stuff. Like he never used to forget that stuff, and sometimes he seems like a lost dog in some of these promos. It's really odd.
The writing the cities down on his hand, I think, is a joke because
now
he messed up.
now is,
but
it was a bad mess up.
Yeah, he did mess up the first time. Good on him to go with that though. Like, you just put
a twist on it.
Yeah, no, that was good. But,
so, and then
that's a bonus subject.
Yeah, bonus subject.
Topic, man.
Raw, though, I mean, so we got Samoa Joe, which was incredible, as we've already established.
Let's just say that I think we're all, I think all of WWE Universe and anybody who's ever been a Samoa fan is extremely excited for the future, especially leading up to WrestleMania and what creative is going to do after post WrestleMania.
You have a new piece, you have a new piece in play.
It's necessary,
and it's cool because.
Especially if he's going to be full-time.
SmackDown's only got Corbin, who I mean, we can get into this later, but I don't really find him super believable. Yeah. But, like, Raw's got Strowman, you have Samoa Joe now, Kevin Owens when he's not doing the comedy thing.
Right.
You have, like, all these powerhouses. You have Brock, you have Goldberg for however long he sticks around, which, speaking of which, seeing him Monday again, it's definitely cool. I'm really hoping, the setup get announced.
We have Goldberg?
Yeah, we have Owens, Goldberg for Fastlane for the title. If I had to guess, I'm guessing because he beat Brock Lesnar, he's likely beating Kevin Owens. I'm really hoping it's not another 2-minute squash because I think at this point, with the two interactions we've had, we've seen enough spear jackhammer pin over. I think we need a little bit of a match out of Goldberg this time around.
Honestly, I don't see them doing much of a match.
I don't either, but I think we need it.
Maybe Owens does some elusive things to kind of prolong the match, where it's just like, oh, you try to catch me, or like, oh, pull it over on you, huh? And but once Goldberg does get a hold of him, if there's no interference to break it up or DQ the match, I think Goldberg puts an end to it pretty quickly. I don't foresee it being a long match, especially with it being so in the near future, and Goldberg reportedly, needing to work on his stamina and kind of shake off that ring rust. I don't foresee it being like a long duration at all.
Yeah, I don't either, which is scary.
As much as I admire Kevin Owens, I think it would not do justice to Goldberg if Kevin Owens lasted longer than Brock Lesnar.
Right, no, exactly.
Like, as much as I think Kevin Owens is a top guy and I think he should main event forever.
But, I mean, if they want Goldberg, this is obvious to me, in my opinion. If they want Goldberg to go into WrestleMania as the face, a clear face, they want people to chant him, say, let's go Goldberg.
Yep.
I don't think you can squash Kevin Owens immediately because there's too many the serious fans that would be more so fans of Kevin Owens despite him being a heel or whatever it may be. I think those people would be so furious that WWE did that to not only Brock Lesnar but to Kevin Owens as well, that they'd boo Goldberg just because it's Foley wants it's that kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like Goldberg would get a lot of heat just because they're pissed off at the creative decision of
I don't know with the squash match with him. The problem is the Goldberg squash now. It looks like shit.
Yeah,
it really does. He doesn't hit the spear anywhere near as fast as he does, and he doesn't even hit it in the gut. He hits it like at the chest now for some reason. I don't know if he just can't get down to that angle. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look good. His jackhammers aren't terrible, but
you got to remember he only wrestled for what 97 to 2003.
Yeah,
and then he took 13 years off.
No, so
he's
someone who was already stiff.
Yeah,
and limited.
How is this match? Because we have the match at WrestleMania, which is really kind of interesting to me that he's got 2 matches on the card already, but because he's got the Mania match, he's got the Fastlane match. But how long is this Mania match going to go realistically
with Lesnar?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a little bit more of Lesnar's retribution. I think it's just going to be him doing a little bit more in the match and kind of just throwing Goldberg around, and they have a nice story building up to it, showing that Lesnar needs retribution. He has to prove himself again because he's just been dominant and kind of overlooking everybody. Now Goldberg kind of put a halt to that, and I think that at the WrestleMania match, they're going to have to drag it out a little bit, if not 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, have him suplex him a bit and just kind of throw him around. I think they could kind of just beat up on Goldberg and just kind of make it a reverse squash but dragged out.
I know. I think it's really up in the air. I think a lot of people are going, how is this match going to go? Because it's not going to be just an average match. It's going to be some kind of
twist
that's talked about. Something that's talked about. Whether it be, Goldberg squashes Lesnar again. Can you believe it? Or Lesnar, really showed Goldberg this time,
I think the reason Lesnar has to do that is because if he beats him in just a regular match, so it's just a regular match, he's still down 2-1.
Yeah.
Goldberg beating him at 3-1 technically. He's beating him at WrestleMania 20. He beat him at Survivor Series, and then he tossed him out at the Rumble.
So surprising.
So I think that Lesnar needs to completely dominate Goldberg and just have his way with him.
I think if so, he's really going to hurt him. Like actual pain.
Well, it's likely going to be Goldberg's last match, which doesn't make a shitload of sense.
But
the build they've had.
He's scheduled for quite an amount of appearances post WrestleMania.
Yeah,
right?
I've heard he's going to be around for a little bit.
He's actually going to be wrestling past WrestleMania.
Well, we don't know about wrestling, but you'd imagine so. But yeah, I guess he's still under contract and scheduled to make appearances a few months at least after Mania.
Speaking about appearances, Lesnar's been making more appearances as of late. I mean, think of it. You saw him at, was it the week before Rumble, and then at the Rumble, the night after the Rumble, and then he was there this past Monday, not on TV, but he was there.
Which was shocking that they blew a Lesnar appearance to a dark
And he was
segment.
at a house show against Big Show on Friday.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that they had him. The house shows I get because I think every once in a while, especially, for anybody that doesn't know, we record in the Providence, Rhode Island suburb area. So so we're right down the road, so to speak, from WWE's headquarters. So they're through here. I would say at least 3 times a year in Providence.
Yeah.
They're probably in Providence 3 times a year. We usually get 1 television a year, and we get 2 live events.
Sometimes a pay-per-view.
Yeah, sometimes a pay-per-view. And then we usually get 1 pay-per-view a year in Boston. We usually get 1 to 2 televised events and at least 2 to 3 house shows.
Yeah.
But then that's not even counting all the stuff they do in Worcester and stuff. So they have an extreme presence in this area. They come through all the time. So with the house shows, when you're coming through an area that often with house shows, you need a carrot like Brock Lesnar once in a while. So I understand that. But using his appearance in a dark segment, as cool as it is, it's just kind of tough for me to fathom unless they had nowhere else to use him.
I have a weird thought for you guys, because I personally don't know how contracts work and everything. Say they had Lesnar on year for 2 years. So in that 2 years, he has to make 20 appearances. Okay. Instead of making it a 2-year contract, can he just meet all of his appearances before then and end his contract early? That being said, my thought is maybe he's speeding up his appearances and maybe going to do like a career versus career match at Mania.
I mean,
and maybe have Lesnar leave.
They could, but I don't see that happening because WWE is going to dictate when those appearances are. Mm-hmm. The scenario that you're talking about, he would be dictating and be like, nope, I'm going to do these 20 dates.
To be fair, Heyman and Brock Lesnar have been noted as kind of pulling the weight in there in what they do. That's why he has the highest paid contract and the least appearances.
I was going to say, does he get paid show to show, or is it like one solid deal? You sign the deal,
I don't know.
Here's a lump sum, done.
But I'd imagine, though, when he signs his contract and they say, this is the term of the contract, how long it is, and this is how many dates that you need a minimum of, I would imagine that they pretty much get Vince and company get final say on when he appears. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think Lesnar's contract is up shortly after Mania.
Okay.
Because if I remember correctly, the last contract he signed was a 2-year one. It was right after or before Mania 31.
Okay.
Right, it was right before Mania 31
so.
that he made the announcement on ESPN that he was not going to pursue MMA again. His contract's up, I believe, right after WrestleMania, if I'm not mistaken. And his UFC suspension is up, I think, around June or July, so he can apply for his fighter's license again.
When did he get suspended? Because I know it was a 1-year suspension.
He got suspended,
it was right before
it as time served.
Survivor Series, or right before
Survivor Series.
Yeah, it was right before that, but about a month before there.
They put him on a ban before that, and then they counted as time served, if I remember correctly.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting with Lesnar because I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. I imagine if he's smart, he's going to sign a contract with WWE because he could easily stick around for another 3 years. Easily.
Lesnar? Absolutely.
Maybe longer. And then he's probably going to try to cut off one-off deals with UFC because Vince did it once. I can't see him not doing it again. And the fact of the matter is, it legitimizes Lesnar and it brings new eyes to Vince. So it's stupid for him not to cut that deal. And I'm sure WWE got a kickback from that.
Now, I know I'm getting ahead of myself and kind of jumping back a topic. What do you guys think coming out of WrestleMania is going to happen with Lesnar? So if they do the title for Lesnar Goldberg, what happens after that? Say Lesnar wins the title. Like, do you think Finn Balor? Because my thought is Finn Balor is going to come back and want his title because he never lost it. He only held it for a day. Do you think Finn Balor versus Lesnar is like a reasonable place to go?
No, I think realistically, if Lesnar has the title, I think you need to pull the trigger on Kevin Owens Lesnar because I don't think Finn Balor is a believable opponent for Lesnar. That's like Batista. That interview with Batista has been making the rounds lately, where he said, "I didn't have a problem losing to Daniel Bryan, but I don't understand how that was believable at all." It's the same thing. Like Finn Balor, he doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Because the thing is, if Lesnar comes out of WrestleMania with the title, which I think we're all in agreement that we think that is possibly the outcome.
From what we're reading in a lot of different sources.
Yeah, so that is likely the outcome. If he comes out of there with that title, you need somebody. I think it's either needs to be Kevin Owens, Strowman, or Joe. That needs to go for that belt. I can't see Finn Balor doing it because I think you're going to delegitimize him in the process. You can't have Lesnar run through everybody. Then Goldberg, who's a huge hulking monster, but the only guy that can take him down, and then have him go up against Finn Balor. who's like
coming back from injury.
I don't even think he's 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
right.
And he's got like a lanky build. I mean, he's essentially a cruiserweight build. I don't think you can have him like even have a match with Lesnar and have it look legit.
Yeah,
right. I agree. What was the WrestleMania with dare I say CM Punk and Undertaker?
29, I believe.
Yeah, that was.
I believe that was admittedly the first WrestleMania I had watched in like years, almost a decade. Like because I took a huge break off.
Shame on you.
Yeah, right. I'm one of those guys that was like Attitude Era's over. I'm done, and then come back because it's hype again. I guess.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you again for getting me back into it. But I'll tell you what, right now, in relation to that, I remember that match. This being all new to me, CM Punk being relatively new to me, seeing CM Punk up against Undertaker, and I was like, why do people actually think that this CM Punk random dude can, like, really take on the Undertaker? Just literally looking at stature only.
Yeah.
Because obviously CM Punk's in-ring ability is terrific, incredible performer. You know, he's got a ton of credibility behind him. But me being a complete noob to it all, seeing who I obviously know, Undertaker, and then you see CM Punk that you've only heard of, really. Seeing those two just matched up with each other, I'm like, it's not believable if CM Punk were to ever win. To me.
Yeah, no, so you representing the general audience or newer fans in this situation.
Right, exactly, new fans, correct.
Seeing a guy the size of CM Punk or even like his presence going against Undertaker who has like this aura about him.
Well, sure, so you get like Lesnar, who's just the most dominant monster, right?
Yeah.
Although he's been squashed by Goldberg, obviously Goldberg's his
but
Superman's
hulking monster. Yeah,
I mean,
man beast.
I guess the more loyal fans would go and say the demon, the Finn Balor has his demon persona.
But here's the thing: when he was away from wrestling, when he was not watching, when BG was not watching wrestling, the rules changed.
Yeah,
because you had Eddie Guerrero win a title, you had Chris Benoit win a title, and you had Rey Mysterio win a title.
That was a terrible title run.
And so it became that there was no longer these are no longer heavyweight belts. They don't even refer to the heavyweight belt as the heavyweight belt. Right. It's called the World Championship now.
Right.
So these are no longer heavyweight belts at this point. So Brent comes back, and the rules have changed, and this is perplexing to him, and understandably so.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is with Lesnar, the new rules don't apply to him.
Yeah.
He subscribes to rules that I don't even know if they're old school rules, but
him
they're
and Undertaker kind of got grandfathered in.
Yeah,
like,
they have their own thing, and they don't anything that's new with like a little guy going over Lesnar or Daniel Bryan. That doesn't happen with him.
Yeah.
All he does is he puts people down, and his kryptonite at this point in time is Goldberg. Yeah, his kryptonite at this point in time is Goldberg. So, and you can't have you can't have a Superman versus Lesnar all the time.
Yeah,
it needs to come around once in a great while. Right around the time that Lesnar's starting to stale out a little bit, or his habits are just becoming like old hat. So I think that is probably why that was so jarring for you, is seeing CM Punk.
Absolutely.
Is because the rules did change with regards to that. Sure.
And I guess one thing that could really work in Balor's corner, right, is he does have that. He becomes the Demon King, right? Mm-hmm. So he's another thing. A new thing is it comes out of him, and he's even stronger than he was as just Finn. He's even,
adds a little supernatural element.
Exactly,
too.
Correct. Right. So yeah, ultra powers, right? So I guess that can work to his benefit, as well as the fact that he is so quick and agile in that ring that it's almost like he can pull that Daniel Bryan thing, where like no matter how big the guy, the big guy's going to look kind of slow and a little bit. You can run circles around him, dizzy him a little bit, and do so many quick little moves that like the big guy can't keep up. And you can actually really take advantage of that fact. So maybe that's believable.
So it's not completely out of the question, but it's
right.
Unrealistic at this point.
Well, they're starting to realize it too, because really with Strowman, with Joe, with Roman Reigns to a degree, and with what they're trying to do with Baron Corbin, you're seeing the return of a legitimate heavyweight division.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to see any of those guys, maybe Corbin because I don't really like him, but I don't want to see any of those guys go for anything less then and Reigns too, because I don't like him either. But I don't want to see those guys go for anything less than the head belt of the show that they're on. Strowman should never ever carry the U.S. or IC strap. You know, maybe you can get with a tag team strap, but he shouldn't even have that. He should be a beast that just pushes forward, and he's just always, if he's not at the top of the card, he should be involved with other heavyweights or guys like Sami Zayn that feel they have like a bone to pick with him.
You know, I have to pretty much agree with you on that one too, and I think that'd be a great conversation for another podcast.
Oh yeah, we could go all day on that.
Yeah, because I was going to bring up something.
Who deserves what belt and why kind of thing. I think that really is something to be said.
Well, we try to keep it thought provoking here. The other thing on Raw, I was a little dissatisfied with it. They seemed to rectify it the day later, but they basically gave the status update. Oh no, they didn't rectify anything.
They didn't do anything.
Yeah, they gave the same status update.
Stay tuned for all the news. It was like what you read.
So his MCL's torn. From what we understand, it's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. From what the dirt sheet community is saying, Dave Meltzer reported it, who is admittedly a reputable source. Mm-hmm. He is still considered a lock for Mania.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's out of Fastlane. He's out of all live events. We don't know if he's going to be on any Raws between now and then. Truthfully, I don't want to see him on a Raw between now and then, because they did a great job of letting us forget about him the first time, and then when he came back, it had impact. So I'd rather leave it up in the air and have him run out on a night you don't think he's there and attack Joe or attack Triple H or something.
I hope he comes back to a pop, man. And just like his fear was the first time around, like I hope people still like care about me and so on, so on and so forth. I really do hope that it's not like, oh, cool, he's back, all right. And I really hope he gets that, like, yes, like he did make it back. He overcame the odds. Let's see where this goes. He deserves that.
Absolutely. I have 3 major thoughts about this Rollins injury. First one being, when he comes back, mm-hmm. I hope that they do his return correctly. Because,
yes. By the way, I just want to say, I'm so glad that it's a when and not an if.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was literally really, really nervous and kind of angry. The fact that this tear for the second time of the same knee could be career-ending.
Yeah.
I was like, no. He has so much of a future left in this company. Please live this out.
Yeah, if he wears a knee brace.
And he has to. Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, that's fine. I hope that they do his return, even though it's going to be a smaller window that he's missing. I hope that they do his return a little bit more prominent than they did last time. He came back and he was still heelish. Right? Yeah, he was still very heelish on his promo. He's kind of been a tweener right now. He is a face, but I feel like he needs something extra. Maybe being out for a little bit and then coming back gives him that last push to really be like, this is it. This is what I'm here for.
He does.
Finally,
he needs it, and that's what sucks so bad, dude. Is that it was just getting started because he did the NXT takeover thing. Oh, it was a takeover, right? That was like. He had a huge pop from the NXT crowd, right? That's, hey, it's our old NXTer, and he's doing some, guerrilla friggin' calling out, Triple H. That was awesome. And then he comes onto Raw the next day, and to be in the same friggin' picture as, Triple H is calling him out in the ring, and he's in the same picture as Joe, too. He was starting to really gather a lot of momentum again, and people are really behind him again. And he was a part of a huge picture, rather than, what do we do with Rollins for now kind of guy. Yeah. It sucks, man. He got cut short, but I totally agree with he needs to come back to a definitive big pop as far as what they're going to do storyline and how he's going to win over the crowd. If he's going to be full blown heel or full blown face, definitely I think face.
Absolutely face.
Don't come back.
They need to not make him flippy floppy.
Sure, absolutely.
My second point about this is if he does return for WrestleMania, do you think that's too soon? Because he re-injured his leg, the same leg that got hurt a year ago. Is it worth it to kind of force him back into this WrestleMania picture and give him the opportunity to hurt himself again? Because it's WrestleMania, right. And you know he's going to go big.
I think
you can't drop a pedigree, man.
Yeah, I think truthfully, they would be smarter to lock him up for SummerSlam. Because think about this. He's going to come back.
Right.
And now, because of Triple H, he's missed a WrestleMania and a Rumble. And he's going to come back on fire because now he's missed 2 WrestleManias.
Yeah, hypothetically,
Right.
if he misses.
Yeah,
And
so
if-
if
and
he
if you-
misses one.
And if you saw the 24 special, you saw just how much that absolutely killed him to not be at the first that other WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He missed. He was like depressed, like needed to walk away. He thought he was going to throw up. He hated being there, but not being a part of it. And like for that to happen again to him, and second year in a row, dude, it's heartbreaking.
And it sucks to think that because of that, the way he felt last year, he might make a foolish decision if he is not ready to come back.
Good point.
To kind of push himself. Because in the end, I believe he gets final say, as long as it's not like a concussion or neck thing. If he's just like, oh yeah, my knee's fine,
Right.
it's fine. He can kind of fake
Well,
it.
as long as
He's
the doctors clear him.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, he might want a little bit more time.
I personally think he should take a little bit more time. I know it sucks to be out of WrestleMania again, and he is one of my favorites, but I don't think that putting yourself at risk this early on, especially after you just re-injured a leg injury that's known to be a recurring injury.
Right.
I think he should take a little bit more time off.
He should. And plus, that, I mean, they could do more storyline-wise, like appropriately.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, okay, kind of come up with something relatively quick and, like, work him back in. They could really make a nice organic transition where, like, it's really called upon for him to appear when he appears.
Yeah, and look what they did with Stone Cold after his neck injury. When he broke his neck, he was back on screen a couple weeks or months later, but he didn't have an in-ring. He didn't have any in-ring action that he was doing.
Is that when he's playing guitar and shit?
No, that was
That was when he did the heel turn, right?
No, it was even before that. It was after Owen Hart broke his neck.
Oh, you're talking about... Okay.
The first one, and he was there, and then he started his feud with McMahon and everything. It was almost a year that he was on TV in a prominent role, but didn't really perform in ring. I think they could do something similar with Seth Rollins, keep him at a limited capacity, and just give him an on-screen presence and not risk injury.
So is that like your third option that you're talking about?
No, my third point that I want to make,
because you can go either way on that one, man. Honestly, because it's either awesome to keep him away for so long, and when he returns, huge pop, or keep him a part of it so you don't forget about it, make him more lovable, great on the mic, great with camera time, and then work him in, like you said.
Yeah. My third thing, just real quick, I don't want to go into it too much, but what would Triple H's role be at WrestleMania if Seth Rollins didn't appear? I know it's a big long topic.
I'd rather see him sit out.
Yeah?
Yeah, because number one, it's become too formulaic to have him every year in WrestleMania.
And I hope he recognizes that.
Yeah, because it becomes this big thing like, oh, the big show's coming up. And especially, they need to stop proverbially blowing their load on WrestleMania. Because they literally break out all their big shit for Mania. And then they try to say, like, oh, we want the other 4 pay-per-views to be pretty big, too. And they've gotten better. They've gotten a lot better in recent years. Because I was at Survivor Series, I think, 13 in Boston.
That was terrible with Randy Orton and Big Show as the main event.
Yeah, which is like, heralded as the worst Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, I was there, too. It
was I mean, I don't even know if that could have passed for a mediocre Raw. That's how bad this thing was.
It was terrible.
So, and as we know, Survivor Series is a Big 4 pay-per-view. So to go from that to what we have now, it's getting better, but they need to pull out more stops for the other 3. So I don't think they need to shoehorn Triple H in there. But anyway, I know you don't want to get caught up on that one. So we're gonna real quickly moving on to the SmackDown side of things. Huge week for Luke Harper, because it sounds like finally the schism with the Wyatt family is coming to fruition.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's basically fully out, which is interesting because right now at Elimination Chamber we have Bray Wyatt set to be in the Elimination Chamber match. So do we know, is it going to be Orton Harper at Elimination? Are they going to announce that?
Yeah, it's been announced. Orton Harper.
How did I miss that?
It's on our match list, actually.
It's on the match list that I printed out, and I missed it. Wow. You fucked up.
Director of Operations right there.
How excellent is this push for Harper? So many of us have wanted that for so long. We almost all knew his capabilities, and it's coming to fruition finally. Yeah,
I was actually worried because at the Royal Rumble it didn't seem to get as big a pop as I thought it would.
I think your casual fan was kind of like, ooh,
I think they were just kind of disappointed in the Royal Rumble match up to that point, as it was. But
plus, he didn't get to hit the sister out.
When he teased it, nobody even kind of like popped for it or anything. But he hit him with the clothesline. He hit Bray Wyatt with the discus clothesline, and the crowd went nuts. I was very happy.
Yes, I think he might even gotten a little bit of a yes chant as well.
Yes,
maybe not a unanimous one, but people were really feeding off that. They were like all about it.
Absolutely, I think he has potential to be he was Intercontinental Champion for a little while back in the day, and I think he has potential to be a good top guy on the SmackDown side of things if they do it right.
Because he returned from his injury better than ever. He looks like he's a little bit thinner.
Yep.
He looks even as agile as he was beforehand. He looks like he's got some more. He's more
speed.
Yeah. So I gotta say though, I think the number one thing that changes from here on out, as opposed to his first kind of push when he was IC champion or everything, is he has mic time and he's not pulling that whole like backwoods kind of I barely say a few words.
Yeah.
Like he's all about really pushing a narrative and he's speaking really well. It's awesome. It's really cool.
His promo that he cut, it was a backstage promo. I don't think they wanted to give him too much live mic time, just in case he kind of fumbled it. He did drop the little bit of a southern accent that he had. He kind of used his real voice. And he killed his backstage promo. I don't know if it was overly scripted or not, but he delivered it well.
Right.
He utilized the area around him. He had like the hanging light bulb that was flashing. He was kind of staring into it and everything.
So it still has the Wyatt family vibe because you can't really stray too far from that.
Yeah. Well, he needs that aesthetic.
Right.
Because of the way his character's been established.
But I guess it wasn't too blatant of a ripoff, or it doesn't seem. It's not rip-off-ish. It's just like
an homage.
It's keeping the continuity of what he stands for, what he came from. The whole vibe that you should bring. However, you can tell that they're going to start to kind of wean him away from that, maybe slightly, if they don't have him reunite with Wyatt.
I hope he still has that slide guitar theme.
Listen, all he needs
so cool.
to break away, he can keep everything else, give him a clean t-shirt, and there'd be enough separation from Bray Wyatt.
Actually, his t-shirt has gotten cleaner.
Is that what has he been using Tide, like stain remover on some of the spots?
He's the next guy for the commercial.
Yep.
New endorsement.
I do think that he has a lot of potential, and I think that right now, as of his first week, kind of flying solo. And I mean, last week he teamed up with John Cena, which was very interesting.
People that know his previous work already know this is going to be the start of really good things if they continue the push, because he's capable. And I think he's going to win over your average fan as well. For the most part. If
you look at the people in the Elimination Chamber right now, I would say Luke Harper could easily fit in there. I would say he's better than I think he's personally better than Baron Corbin. Granted, Baron Corbin isn't as experienced.
Right.
And Luke Harper has...
That's really, with Corbin, I find that's really showing, and I know he's going to get experience from being there. But I just don't find him... super believable. He's very.
He's a different character, Roman Reigns, in my opinion.
Yeah, he's kind of like a heel Roman Reigns. Like it's all based in arrogance and cockiness, and
he's not very good. As of right now, I don't think he's
not
very
great
good
on the mic. I mean, his finishing
he's
moves
getting a little bit better. I don't
it.
know if you guys heard him on commentary with the 7 different people on commentary. But they
need to cut that shit
so
with SmackDown. That's like 2 weeks.
That was ridiculous. But he did go kind of toe to toe with the Miz, who is undoubtedly it was on SmackDown during the AJ Styles Dean Ambrose match.
Yeah.
Miz was kind of giving him some shit, and he kind of just fed it back to him a little bit. Now, yeah,
that's probably why they're putting him with Miz, because who can talk better than Miz?
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, if you can prove yourself against Miz, if you can get comfortable and be confident against Miz on the mic and going back verbally, then a lot of the other guys, it'll come naturally to you. You're going to feel like you're owning them rather than like trying to keep up with.
Yeah.
Miz is friggin' top notch.
I do want to bring up, because we've gotten so inundated with the top of the card. Both shows. SmackDown's got a little bit of a mid-card push. The tag division still needs some friggin' work, because these 12-man tag matches are getting a little old hat.
You have some good tag teams. You have
They need to figure out what to do
talented.
with them. That's
But
the
yeah,
problem.
exactly. Figure out what to do with them.
Before we get into that, can I just say that 12-man tag team match, the pop that Rhyno got, everybody was chanting, "We want Rhyno."
No, they weren't in his hometown or anything, right?
No. I love Rhyno. So personally, he's one of my guilty pleasures in wrestling. He's not one of the people I tell everyone about, but man, I love that the fans just wanted him.
He brings you back to those ECW days and stuff. I just naturally, he's just that. He's freaking Rhyno.
Absolutely.
And if a lot of those fans, they know what he's like off of the camera and behind the scenes kind of thing. He's just a really cool, very intelligent dude and just down to earth and a good guy. And he just, you want to pull for him.
Yeah.
Almost like how they wanted to pull for Slater, because he's he's a cool person, funny. But yeah, dude, a huge pop. I'm so glad that you brought that up actually, and it meant that much to you, because just the fact, we want Rhyno.
Dude, they were losing it for him going before the commercial break.
Slater finally did that huge dive and boom tagged him in. He came in like a friggin' bat out of hell.
Yeah.
And people go, yeah,
Gore!
and then when he set up the gore and he actually pulled it off, it was great.
And I love seeing, without them panning away to the audience, them looking at the audience, and you could see the reactions just from the camera.
It's pretty cool that he's still there. Truthfully, it's pretty cool.
I'm not sure how much longer for the, what do he wants? He wants to run for what?
No, he already did. He lost, I believe. If I remember correctly.
No, he lost.
So one of the things I did want to bring up though with the mid card is, and I brought it up the last few weeks because I'm a big fan, but the Mickie James angle, I'm not really getting it, and here's the problem. Number one, I don't get why she's aligning herself with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has done literally nothing to pay homage to anything that's come before her. So why she's coming in and saying oh, Alexa's the only one that cared about me. Where's the evidence of that? She's never referenced you in any of her promos. She's never done anything that's resembled anything you did.
You think because she's the current female face with the belt and everything like that? She's got the most.
I don't know, and that's what's kind of pissing me off about it. But then on top of that, I think here's how I think the angle should have been done. She's coming in, she's aligning herself with Alexa, and then she's also saying to Becky, you're the face of the women's division, and for my reinvention, I need to beat you. Which is a ridiculous notion, because Becky has never once deemed herself that. And everybody in this room knows that I do not like Becky Lynch.
Yes.
She's got a wonky eye, and I don't like it.
You're such a vendetta against her.
I just don't like her. She got a man voice. I do not like
Whose
Becky Lynch.
eye is wonkier, hers or Nia Jax's?
Hers is wonkier, yeah. Yeah, they should have Battle of the Wonka eyes.
Like two chameleons just trying to stare at each other.
They should just slap each other with Wonka bars. So, anyway, here's how I think they should have pulled it off. If Mickie James is to come in as a heel, have her come in and say, you know what? History has forgotten me in favor of Trish Stratus and Lita.
Yeah.
And now all of you want to come in here and take credit for things that all of us accomplished 6-7 years ago. That ends now. I'm putting the entire women's division on notice. I think that would have been far more effective to pull it off than to have her come in and be like, oh, let me forge this alliance.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any
completely
sense.
agree.
To me, I think it's more for a long con. I think they're going to try to side her with Alexa. That will make her face turn when she turns on Alexa that much bigger.
You think it's a face?
I think it's going to be
I think she's going to
that.
turn sooner than later, because I think, who do they have coming off of injuries? Tamina on SmackDown?
I don't know where's
Tamina been?
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's worst draft pick ever. I traded Tamina for Roman Reigns years ago.
She's cool shit though. But yeah. So while we're in the women's division, you wanted to talk about the new mid card push, as it seems for us, at least mostly Team SmackDown. Nioami is getting a huge push right now.
Oh, man.
I think it's very evident. I don't know if they're doing this to put one over on us, make us all think oh yeah, I mean, you could tell that, all these promos and all this, it adds up to, Naomi's, it's her time now, and we think it's so obvious, and when it comes time to it, she doesn't win, we go, oh shit, then we were wrong, and cool, they're going to keep us guessing, who knows. But I think we all agree that, aside from the mic, because she's still a little bit on the side, she's not quite there, but she has gotten better. and she's getting more time.
She's got some glowing hair, though.
Yeah, dude. Her gimmick right now is doing excellent.
Yep.
In my opinion.
It's very over.
Yeah. I mean,
how many people when she comes out do you think just pop the Molly right away?
Dude, little kids are like, I don't know what this is all about, but I'm feeling it.
Dad, why are you freaking out?
Why am I sweating? I think that's a great gimmick. It looks awesome. It's really working for her. It's clearly gaining her a lot of momentum. And obviously, she's always been a great athlete in the ring. And I think anybody who disagrees with that is just straight wrong. Probably racist. Who knows? But literally, she's easily, I'm not saying she's the best, but one of the best female talents in ring that they have.
Absolutely.
Like, in all SmackDown, Raw, you name it. In the past good amount of years. 4 or 5 years.
And I think that she showed on this past SmackDown when they were doing the double contract, which a segment in itself was very long-winded. Mickey James took a lot of time and kind of paused between every word, and I didn't really like that.
She's taking the Sasha thing and taking it to a whole new level.
The pauses between words and everything.
She never did
dragging
that
out the words.
No, she didn't. Oh my god, I was tired by the end of that.
Yeah,
but I think going back to Nioami, I think she handled herself really well because they kind of had the camera focused on the other three.
And it's great. And Becky's like, oh yeah, I almost forgot about you. I didn't forget you were there.
Alexa said that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Alexa was like, "Yeah, I forgot that. Oh yeah, I'll beat you on Sunday." And like, kind of just made note of it.
Really? Like, oh, you think so little of me, and then like, she did a little bit of mic time. Like I said, not the greatest, but
not the
you can
greatest,
tell it's getting better. And I think she saved it with that kick. That kick was like right over the table.
Swung her leg around the table into her face.
Yeah, round and over the table. Boom! Like right on the mark. Right on the mark, and that just goes to show that she in ring is friggin' awesome. And hopefully, and like she talked about, her home, is it, where in Florida? Is it Miami, Florida?
Orlando, Florida.
Orlando.
Town.
She said, believe it, that I am walking, paraphrasing, that I'm walking into WrestleMania with that belt.
Yeah.
I hope that either A, she goes in as champ, and or B, walks out as champ.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can imagine her getting the championship, going to WrestleMania as a champion. She gets her moment with the belt there, but loses it at home like they've been really doing nonstop with all these wrestlers. But she deserves the huge push that she's getting.
They love stripping people in their hometowns.
It's so mean.
I was at the Garden for Hell in a Cell, and I thought they were gonna fucking riot.
Sasha?
It was people were walking out of there screaming that they were never going to watch another episode of Raw again. Yeah. They were so mad about it. I mean, that's just like Boston people in general.
I feel like
very passionate people.
Vince just like they thought you thought wrong. Like loves it.
Homecoming canceled.
So we got Nioami. We already talked about Harper, which is great too. The Ascension winning.
Yeah,
winning all of a sudden.
Their first win in 9 years? I think
something like literally along those lines.
Yeah, I know, huh?
I think they look pretty strong, and I think for the most part the crowd is going to kind of get behind them. I think there's a lot of people that wanted the Ascension to look strong. They weren't strong, and now they finally are getting a little bit of a push. They're going finally, like good.
Absolutely,
sweet.
I think it'll take a little
NXT
bit of
fans.
I think it'll take a little bit of work.
It's great. Gallows and Anderson, obviously,
they're getting back up there too.
Getting a huge push. Getting a huge push. They've got the belts.
Yeah,
right?
they're champs.
They made it. Apollo Crews, for the most part, is getting a little momentum.
It's overdue at this point.
Yeah, and I think it's make or break. We'll see what he can do with it.
The dude's so good in ring.
But I mean, it just seems like.
I don't really have a sense of his character.
Exactly. I was going to say lack of a character.
Yeah, I don't really know what he does other than, like, apparently he's friends with Callisto, which I didn't know that until a month ago. Like,
and then
I don't think he's friends with Callisto.
And then you can't ignore Nia Jax.
Yeah.
She's also getting a huge push, which she might even get the belt at some point relatively soon.
Yeah, it's not going to fit around.
I would not be surprised if they pull a swerve at WrestleMania and give her the belt instead of Bayley or Sasha or Charlotte.
She's strong.
Well, so we're coming up on that hour mark, so we definitely have to move things along. Real quickly, I think we've covered a lot of Elimination Chamber.
Maybe the match itself.
Yeah, what we'll do is let's cover the match itself and let's get predictions from everybody.
Yeah.
Now, Elimination Chamber, on Raw, they started going on about how it's a completely new chamber, which worries me a little bit because the old chamber I really liked a lot, but apparently logistically it's really tough to get into a lot of the arenas because it's too heavy, and I think where the scoreboards are placed, it's a challenge for them. So, have you guys read anything about this new chamber? Like, what's the deal with it?
No, and they mentioned it a couple times actually in passing, and the first time I heard it,
was very casual.
I didn't think anything of it. I thought they were just kind of trying to reestablish that the Elimination Chamber is coming back. I thought it was just because it wasn't around last year. I don't think they did Elimination Chamber.
Wasn't that around last year? No, they added it.
Did they?
Didn't they?
I could be wrong.
Wasn't that when? One of the Cena Owens matches was at Elimination Chamber. It was an added pay-per-view.
Oh.
Or was that the year before?
We fucked up.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, regardless.
Yeah, so they did mention it a couple times in passing it, and I didn't realize it until about the third or fourth time they said it, and I was like, did they say a new Elimination Chamber, meaning like the structure itself is going to be different? I know that they had some trouble the last couple times with doors opening and getting jammed, and
well, it's hilarious. It's literally a referee that pulls the sliding door outside the thing. It's kind of ridiculous. You do think it would be an automated process.
If they could do it a little bit more user friendly, then I think it would streamline the Elimination Chamber a bit.
So what do we have for some predictions or some possible scenarios to work with?
Let's just work up the card real quick. We'll do Luke Harper versus Randy Orton.
I will take Orton on that.
Yeah, Orton is too strong. Despite the push that Harper's getting, I think it'd be a really sudden push if he just goes over on Orton. I think Orton's going to take the W on that one.
Yeah, I think that Orton should win. I don't think Luke Harper should lose clean though, because I don't want him to lose this momentum that he just got this week.
Right. But absolutely, Orton has to win. If you're going to go into Mania,
if
you're like, I'm going to face the champion, but I'm sorry, I just lost the last freaking pay-per-view. That's not going to happen.
Maybe some confusion or...
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going to take Orton on that one.
Then moving up, we have Apollo Crews and Kalisto versus Dolph Ziggler in a 2-on-1 handicap match.
I'm taking Apollo Crews and Kalisto, I think.
Yeah, I see the faces going over, but it's weird to me. You don't often see two faces against one heel in a handicap match. You usually see 2-on-1 with the heels going against the face.
Yeah, it's an odd match.
It's a weird thing.
But it's going to be, I mean, you think of those guys as athletes in the ring. It'll probably be fun to watch, at least.
It has a lot
even
of
if you're not really invested storyline or whomever it may be, But I think it's you're going to see some really cool things in the ring.
Absolutely. Then you have Becky Lynch versus Mickie James.
I'm liking the one-on-one.
Beating down the Wonka.
You are all over her dick. You love it.
Beating down the Wonka.
By the way, I adore what's her face there?
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
You love those wonky eyes.
Can you tell that wasn't really my feeling?
That came across as very sincere.
Exactly.
You loved her.
No, and she's cool beans. I totally get where you're like, she's the face of the division, and like she's not.
She's the eye of the division.
I'm not really. She's not over on me. I think she's a sweetheart though, and I think she's beautiful. Whichever
Straight Wong.
I do think Mickie James needs the win to kind of show that
she needs the match, truthfully, because I don't feel like anybody that wasn't familiar with her work has really seen enough of anything to have an opinion on her at this point.
Right, I'm cool to see her in singles.
And then after that, we have the other women's match for the title, the Alexa Bliss versus Nioami. Personally, my thoughts, I think Nioami might win this. I think Alexa Bliss has had a great run. I think she has a lot of potential, and she could be a champ another time. But I think the surprise win from Nioami should...
Yeah, I think so too.
I really think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Or actually, another possible storyline can come up is, or an off storyline, could be that Naomi gets the championship belt, right? And now it's Mickie James and Alexa. Alexa wants it back.
Yeah.
Mickie James is like, well, this is my opportunity. Now it's not on you. Blah blah. And they can kind of hash it out. Who knows? Maybe
do a 3-way at Mania.
Yeah, something like that. There's an opportunity right there. But
absolutely. Then after that, I'm not going to run through all the tag teams in this, but you have the tag
American Alpha's retaining.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
They're going to go in first. They're going to be the first ones in.
I think that I can't see them dropping them at this point because they haven't done anything with them. Like they've done nothing with them.
Mm.
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
I think the Vaudevilles are going to take it.
Sure.
In all honesty, I think the Usos will take it.
There's a good chance. I don't think they've done enough of them on TV right now.
Yeah.
As far as really making them be the ones to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's a surprise, per se.
Do you think, I don't know if it's needed, but do you think we have the surprise appearance from the Revival?
Too early, you think? I'd probably right after Mania.
Yeah.
I can't see them debut because I think everything that's going to happen at Mania is kind of set. I don't think they're going to introduce new pieces right now. I think Joe's the last new one.
I don't think that Revival, I know this is a topic for another day, but I don't think Revival should go on SmackDown. I think they're better suited for Raw because I think SmackDown, their tag team scene's a little wonky, but they can fine tune it up. I know you got the wonk eye.
You're the wonk.
And then after that, you have the grudge match between Nikki Bella and Natalya.
Supposedly, Nikki Bella is having neck issues again, so I'm guessing if they're assuming this might be her last match, she's going to win it. So.
I heard that her last match is actually going to be at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's why there's the rumors of her teaming up with Cena and going against Miz and Maurice.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. But anyway.
We'll talk about that later.
You know what? I would really, really, really like to see. I mean, I know no one else would, but I would like to see the matchup with Cena and Nikki, like being being on screen together, like not just really, in Total Bellas or Total Diva or whatever.
It's acknowledged on her end of the storyline.
Right.
It's never acknowledged on his.
Right. It'd be cool to see them
interesting.
really be a pair, coming to the ring, working within the ring. Just interesting. It may suck. It's probably going to be really dumb.
No.
But just because you really haven't seen it, it'd be cool to see it.
And with Miz and John Cena in that match, the match would be fine.
Absolutely.
Not my own original idea, but part of them going into Mania with that tag match, one of the things I heard that could potentially happen, if that is Nikki Bella's last match, and to kind of tie it into the Total Bellas or Total Divas TV shows, rumors are that John Cena might propose after that match to Nikki Bella. Which would be an interesting twist.
Let's not talk about Total Divas right now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's.
And that could be a possibility as to why Natalya is putting this in the storyline.
Yeah, because she's been talking about
never have kids.
Yeah, she's been talking about a lot.
She's be like, I put a baby in you, and now I'm proposing to you.
John is going to leave you.
All right. So the main event. I'm calling Bray for it. I think it's finally his time. I don't think Cena's retaining.
Everyone is calling Bray, but I feel like because we're all saying it's going to be Bray, WWE insists on doing something different. Doing us go, oh shit, I'm going to see that.
I think the most logical for me would be, and as silly as it is, I think Miz and Cena will kind of go after each other, take themselves out, and that will lead to their feud at Mania, because that seems to be what's going on. Wyatt is going to have some kind of interference from Orton or Luke Harper. I imagine Luke Harper could kind of cost him, and that could.
Do you think it would be? I'm sorry. Do you think it'd be easy to interfere within the chamber?
It's happened before.
Yeah.
The Wyatt family appeared one time. Remember?
And that being said, I think that a more money match at WrestleMania would be AJ Styles versus Randy Orton, as opposed to Orton versus Wyatt. I know everyone's going for the whole Orton versus Wyatt because he kind of infiltrated the thing, but we saw like 4 months of that match. Like, do you really want to see Orton go against Wyatt again for a title?
Yeah, just because they have a relationship suddenly.
Yeah. So I think my money's on AJ Styles to win. I think AJ Styles versus
wins it back. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be good. And
you know, the thing is, a lot of people were disappointed that he had to drop the belt right before Mania for the most part, and be like, damn it, he couldn't go into Mania as the champ. And it seemed as if he's out now and they're going to really undersell him. That'd be great to put him right back in, have everybody go, oh shit, good. Yeah. He does have the belt still. That's great. Yep. That would be cool.
All right, so to wrap things up, we do have our weekly bonus topic, although this week Scumbag came up with it.
Scumbag's taking over.
So I'm gonna pass this off to...
change the rules.
Yeah, I'm going to pass it off to Scumbag. I had no fucking idea this week. So Scumbag, you take it away.
Yeah, so going into this bonus topic, I wanted your thoughts on managers of the past and some of your favorites. And do you think managers are being underutilized now? Do you think that there's not a strong role for them?
Here's what I would say. There's an insane list of really, really talented, cool, memorable managers of the past. It was almost like you weren't a name until you had that name manager with you.
What did Heenan used to say?
Who?
Heenan about the guys that used to take on.
Yeah,
he had some line about that.
His family. He's the manager of champions.
He was like, "You're not somebody until."
And they were a lot. There's a ton of notable managers of the past, and that correlates with the reason why I would say that they are being underutilized now, because they're so far and few in between. And even then, who's memorable other than Heyman?
Heyman right now is the only one.
But you have like the accessory girl of you got
the valet,
like the Lana, and you have the Maurice, right, and whomever else I'm probably forgetting. But
I do think Maurice has been doing a very good job as
absolutely.
manager. She's doing the distraction. She's kind of...
And Lana could just be there and do a great job. She literally just have to be there and just say crush and gold. Nailed it.
But yeah, like they're not as prominent as they were back in the day.
Right.
And from your Paul Bearers and your Paul Ellerings and your Paul Heyman. Lots of Pauls. And
you can't forget Jim Cornette.
Yeah, and Bobby the Brain.
Hopefully we get on the show sometime.
Oh yeah, that would be amazing.
Rage out about something. Jim Cornette, please, if you ever listen to this, come on this podcast.
We want to ask you about chicken fries. What are your thoughts on them?
We want you to rage out about something. We want to hear it. But yeah, go on with more managers, please.
I would love to see it. I would have to say this is a tough question because the freshest in my mind is Paul Heyman.
It's because you weren't prepared for it.
I wasn't prepared for it, and
could he be the best that has ever done it?
I think he is, because I don't know that there's anybody that's better on the microphone. I don't know. I don't think he's the best with his ringside manner. I think there's people that interact. I think the best as far as that goes is Bobby the Brain.
And Jimmy Hart too.
Jimmy Hart was fantastic. Yeah.
But I think as far as establishing what he's there for and stuff, and bringing legitimacy to Brock, I think he does a great job. But yeah, I would like to see more. Truthfully, I like what they're doing with Maurice. Although I don't know if she's really a manager, so to speak.
She does get involved a little bit more. Yeah, because they have the valets with Maurice and Lana,
and she kind of hides. Well, he hides behind her, which is cool. But I like it. That was a good question. Shit.
Theodore Long.
Teddy Long, who's your favorite manager?
Teddy Long.
You're just looking at managers right now?
He's looking at managers. Too bad we're out of time.
The Grand Wizard?
No, we're going to keep looking him up.
All right. Unfortunately, I did not look up how to say goodbye in Japanese prior to us hitting record on this thing. So thank you guys for joining for another week. We're probably down to at least 4 listeners at this point.
Yeah.
And if you guys are enjoying what you're hearing, please like on YouTube, share on Facebook.
Yeah, tell some friends.
Yeah, you just get the word out right now. We're sitting at a whopping, 33 likes on Facebook last I checked.
It's the infancy, but...
anything you guys want to hear on the show?
Email us at authorityonwrestling@gmail.com.
Okay, and also you can send messages to us on the Facebook page. I believe too.
I believe you can post on our Facebook page. I think it's pretty open now.
We'll check on that functionality.
Yeah, and if you can, please do. And we want to hear your take on say some of the subjects that we're talking about. It'd be cool to get your input. It's always cool to work off other people, and if we're far off the subject, far off, par, or you think you've got the answer, we want to hear, and we want to know.
Yeah, please do. This Facebook page, I guess this form of media, we want it to be an open dialogue with everybody who's interested in joining in that dialogue. So please interact with us on the Facebook page. We have a website that's up and running. It needs some polishing, so we'll let you guys know when that's up and running, and hopefully we'll have content and articles being pushed out on there. Thank you guys for joining us once again. We will see you next week. Enjoy Elimination Chamber this Sunday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.